when I was first starting out as a young strategist, and just picture me, obviously young, inexperienced, foreign. My Japanese isn't at all perfect. And I'm going into some big asset management company's office. I step into this room. There's 10 people. The most senior Bucho is sitting in the middle, flanked by his juniors on each side. I start my presentation on where the Japanese stock market I think is going. And literally within the first 30 seconds, the Bucho stops me and says, he interrupts and says, "That's not true," or "Your assumption's wrong." And this proceeded for a painful 1 hour. And it was like a machine gun, shooting bullets at me at every opportunity. And I was not alone. I was with my salesman, who was so embarrassed. He was just like looking down, staring at his notebook the entire time. And I was literally, I held it in, but literally when I got into the taxi, I flooded in tears. I was just so broken. And then the salesman kindly said, "Look, when you get back to your desk, I want you to do the following. That is, write up a list of 20 clients. You are going to call each of these clients, they're all men, every week, once a week. Can you promise me that?" I said, "Sure, I'll do that." And in this list, it was a mix of clients I knew and clients I didn't know, like this guy. And so I said I'd do it. And then about a month later, he checks back in. He says, and there's in the company I was at, he said, they have a call log. They know who I'm calling. I said, "Kathy, I know what you're doing." I said, "What? I'm calling." He said, No, you're calling the clients who like you already. You're not calling the people who don't like you, or you haven't penetrated yet, right? In terms of traction. I said, "Yeah, but they don't answer my call, or even know if they're listening to me. Maybe this is the era of handsets. Probably put the handset in their desk and ignoring me." I said, No. That's the wrong approach. In order to grow, you've got to call the difficult clients. So I really hated this, but I forced myself to call the difficult ones, including this gentleman, that Bucho. And it was so painful. And he really continued to give me a hard time. But over the years, we became very close. He became actually one of my top clients. One of my favorite clients, because he challenged me. He didn't just take what I said, at face value. He questioned me. He challenged my assumptions. He helped me grow. And now he's super senior, and I'm total respect for the guy. But my lesson there is, you've got to go with the difficult clients. You can't ignore them. This is the same with my children, right? Don't avoid the difficult opportunities or the challenges. Go through them. That's the only way humans, will grow. My second piece of advice is particularly for women. Some people ask me, what's the worst piece of advice you've ever been given? And it is this: keep your head down, and someday some invisible hand will magically lift you to your next promotion. Totally false, at least in my experience. Now, keep your head down and do a good job is, obvious. Be excellent at whatever you decide to do. But it's not always the case that some invisible, hand is going to lift you, right? And I think men have a much better sense of, they've got antenna, right? They're always monitoring the landscape. Like, where's the next promotion? Oh, this guy's going to be moved to that position. So that position is going to be free. I'm going to go for that. I'm going to tell my boss I'm going to go for that, right? Women, I think, particularly in my case, if I do my job well, it'll come. That promotion will come. No. It's not, life is not that simple, right? You've got to keep that antenna up at all times, right? And while it may be more tricky, I'd say challenging for women to network and do all that, being not afraid and courageous enough to promote yourself. Self-promotion sounds really arrogant, but educate others about your achievements, about what you've done is super, super important for visibility, right? For impact. And I will tell you, and again, I don't think this is unusual at all, but in my career, if I could count the number of men who come into my office and told me about themselves versus the number of men, the number of women, it's just exponentially different. And those men didn't always have a lot of interesting things to say. They just wanted to have FaceTime with me, right? And I think that's what men are frankly really good at, right? Or they just grab me for a second. I just need to catch up with you for 2 minutes. Like, who doesn't have 2 minutes? Of course I say yes, right? But women, they book me on my calendar 3 months in advance. They bring a PowerPoint presentation about what they've done. It's totally different, right? So anyway, that's what I kind of advise young women is, keep those antenna up, keep your head up, be aware, be aware of the opportunities, and talk to people about how great you are. You're great, right? And have the confidence to say that.